Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be back here with you guys showing you tips and tricks on makeup and how to achieve certain looks. It's been a minute, but I'm definitely back. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a no filter makeup, which basically means complexion that looks flawless, where you don't have to retouch on any apps or on Instagram or anything. You can just post it straight up without any problems. So right now I have nothing on my skin, which is how you want to start clearly. And the first thing we're going to do is get into primers. So the first thing I'm going to use is a Step 1 equalizer from Makeup Forever. This one is the Nourishing one. Now they make 10 different equalizers. All 10 of them have a cocktail of ingredients inside that help to smooth out the skin's texture and tone. This one, however, is hydrating, and it also has a little bit of shea butter. So if you're feeling a little bit more dry consistently throughout the day, this one will help you. Now to apply this, I'm going to be taking a flat foundation brush. There's no real technique behind this. I'm literally just going to get this all over the skin. This is going to help prime and prep everything, make my foundation go on even smoother and last longer throughout the day. Now you can use as much or as little of this as you want. I like a good amount because it's very hydrating and it feels really, really cooling to the skin. This is like my favorite step of putting on foundation, is this guy. It just feels so good. Now that we have that on, it's time to start thinking about a little bit of color correction. So since we're going for a no filter makeup look, we need to make sure our skin looks as flawless as possible. So the first thing, the next thing I'm going to do is start thinking about my skin tone. Most of us are usually a little bit discolored throughout the center of our face, around the nose, under the eye area, maybe on the eyelid, around the mouth. I'm going to take a little bit of two different equalizers. So these are the same things as the first one I used. This one is the yellow one and this one is the peach one. So the reason why I'm taking these is because I'm more of a yellow medium skin type. The yellow one is going to help to take down a little bit of the redness, but then the peach one is going to bring a little bit of warmth into my skin so that I don't look as dull all over. And I'm just going to mix the two. So I'm literally taking equal parts, and I'll show you. I'm taking equal parts yellow and then a little bit of this peach guy. Now the way you want to use the color correcting primers is to use them like area rugs. Only place them where you need them. So for this, I'm just going to take the two, I'm mixing them right on the same brush, and I'm just going to lightly place this throughout the center of my face. For me, it's usually around the nose area and a little bit on the cheeks. A little bit under my bottom lip gets a little red and discolored under there. So as you can see, I'm literally just lightly placing and pressing into the skin. Sorry if you hear growling going on. That's my dogs. So now that we're all primed and we have a little tiny color correction going on, I think we're ready for foundation. Now, the foundation I'm going to be using is Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. Now I have both. I have the liquid and I have the stick. Today I'm going to be using the stick, but I'll tell you the differences between the two. So the liquid is more for your everyday person. Combination skin type doesn't really matter. This one is going to give more of a natural medium finish. And coverage wise, the finish is going to be satin. So it'll look like skin, which is nice, and it has invisible coverage. So the more you apply on, it still won't look like you're wearing a ton of foundation. Now the stick is more for your going normal to dry skin type. This is going to give you full coverage, but it can be sheared out to something very sheer to medium, but instantly going right on the skin, it's going to give you full coverage. I love this guy. I'm more normal to oily, but right now I'm kind of dry, but I still love this even though it gives more of a dewier, buttery finish to the skin. So today I'm going to be using this guy. And if you're wondering the colors that I am, the liquid I have Y375, and then in the stick I have Y405. I will say the sticks are a little bit different than the liquids in color, so the colors do not match even though sometimes it'll have the same number. They're definitely not the same. So for the stick, you just want to twist it up. And the way you want to apply this is start through the center of the face. Most of us have discoloration, like I said before, throughout the center of the face, and then we're a little bit more even throughout the perimeter. So I'm literally just going to draw straight in on this, on my face. And there's two different ways to use this. You can draw just like this, or you can take your brush and take some and then apply. I find this is a little bit faster, plus I like the coverage that it gives, so I'm not afraid to go right in. So I'm taking this just through the center of the face. Do a little bit around here. So basically, literally straight through the center. Now I'm going to go in with that brush and I'm just going to lightly start to tap and blend down and outwards. And the reason why you're doing this is because most of the coverage is through the center, and as we tap and stretch and blend downwards, it's shearing out so that we go towards, it's shearing out as we go towards the jawline, so you don't get that mask effect where you look like you just have foundation around the perimeter of your face. So we're stretching and blending through the center and pulling out and downward. And as you can see, as it blends in, it looks just like my skin, which I love. So this gives you crazy coverage and it doesn't look like I have anything on really. So let's talk about how to hold a brush. Now I see a lot of people that apply their makeup and they hold the brush right at the tip and they're going right in. What you're doing is you're applying a lot of pressure on the face, which you can make yourself look even more red or even more irritated. If you hold it towards the middle or towards the back like a little Harry Potter wand, you'll get a softer application and you won't be stressing the skin. Alright, now that we have our foundation on, let's get right into concealer. Now I know some of you guys out there are thinking that you do concealer first, or why am I doing it second? The reason being is that when you do your foundation, that's the first layer. You're going to get coverage with this right away. So if I went in with my concealer before I did foundation, I would see all the areas that I want to cover. So I'm putting concealer everywhere and then I'm going in with foundation afterwards and topping that off, and it becomes way too much makeup. So if you do your foundation first, you see the tiny little areas that shine through, and that's where you take your concealer. And a lot of people forget, it's in the name, foundation. That's the first layer. So the concealer I'm going to be taking is Makeup Forever's concealer in Lift number 2. This is one of my favorite concealers because it looks like skin on. It has elastopolymers in it to help smooth and tighten the skin under the eye. So you get a real nice natural effect. So I'm taking a little bit of this guy on a smaller brush. The way you want to find where you should apply your concealer correctly is by doing a little demon face. So I take my mirror, I look straight at myself, I'm going to take my chin to my chest, and I'm looking like this. When I do that, I see all the trouble areas that are shining through, and it's just the darkness. So what I'm going to do is place this concealer right on the areas where I see any darkness. So now that I have the concealer where it should be, I'm just going to tap and stretch this into place. Alright, so now that we have primer, foundation, and concealer on, it's time to set everything and lock it in place. So I'm going to go in with a foundation powder. Now this is Makeup Forever's Pro Finish powder. This is a medium coverage powder. It's meant to go on and look like skin, and it's also a little bit hydrating. I'm going to take a nice powder brush. This one isn't too big, but it's big enough for the side of my face. And the way I'm going to set my foundation is by pressing and rolling. So I'm just going to take the brush and I'm going to press and roll this onto the skin. I'm not going to go in and buff. If I did that and went in and started buffing the powder on, I would move all of the foundation and the concealer that we just placed. So to set your face without moving any of the hard work that you just did, you literally just want to press and roll the powder onto the skin. Now this applies for any foundation powder. It doesn't just apply for the one I'm using. If you're using any foundation powder, whether it's pressed, loose, or anything, you literally just want to press and roll this onto the skin. So now that we're all set, let's add a little fun to the skin because this is looking a little flat. So we're going to go in and add just a tiny little bit of highlight and contour, but nothing major, nothing on the crazy scale of Instagram highlight and contour. This is going to be more for your everyday, more for that no filter, seamless highlight and contour. So the first thing I'm going to take is MAC Soft and Gentle. Now this is a Mineralized Skin Finish highlighter, and I'm going to be taking a small little brush. This one is a perfect size to fit right on my cheekbone. So I'm tapping this into the product. And if you don't know where your highlight and contour should go, I would say definitely get a little personal with your face. Take your fingers and kind of touch and feel your bone structure. You can feel the highest point of your cheekbone, and then you can feel the indentation or the hollow part of your cheekbone as well. Now the squishy part, as I like to call it, is where your contour should go. If you take your fingers and take them up a little bit, the highest point of your cheekbone, that's where your highlight should go. I'm taking that highlight and I'm going to apply this right on top of the highest point of my cheekbones. A little bit above my lips. And then if you like, which I do, I just like to tap a little bit on the eyelids. This will brighten and awaken the eyelids. I'm going to go in with a bronzer. Now this is number 20M Pro Bronze Fusion from Makeup Forever. I'm using the same brush, and I'm going to do a little swirl in here. And this color is going in that squishy area that I was telling you about a little earlier. This is going to be our contour color. So I'm taking this right back by the ear first, and I'm placing this right into that hollow, and then I'm just going to lightly push and blend this up into the highlight. That way we get a gradient effect and it's not just like a smack of brown on the side of our face. Now that we have our highlight and contour on, it's time to go in and set and finish the skin. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of HD pressed powder. Now this is a finishing powder. A lot of people get this confused with a setting powder. Completely different. The HD powder is meant to be used as your last and final step, and only a tiny little bit. So I'm dipping this into the powder and I'm tapping off the excess, and your brush should look like you used it yesterday. It shouldn't be a ton of product on the brush. And what I like to do with that product is to lightly and gently just tap this all over the skin once you're finished. Now that we have that on, it's time to set it and forget it. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of Mist and Fix. This is a sealing spray. So this is going to finish off your makeup, seal it in place, you don't have to worry about it, and it's completely finished. Alright guys, so now that we have the finished look, it's time to put this bad boy to the test. I'm going to take a live selfie right here and post it on there for you guys so you can see no filter needed with this makeup. So let's try and get a good picture. Let's see. And there you have it guys, a no filter makeup. So remember, the first thing we did was prime the skin, and we used 3 different equalizers to help moisturize and then balance out any darkness and correct any areas that we have. Then we went in with the Ultra HD foundation stick to apply all over. We did a little tiny bit of concealer in our problem areas. We set it with the foundation powder, added a tiny little bit of highlight and contour, finished with the HD press powder, and then we set it all so that we can forget it, and then we're good to take selfies all day long. Thanks so much for watching my video guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!